Hello and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is November 15th, and today's episode is going to talk about rETH with potentially a big buy coming in, maybe. We're also going to be talking about rETH using it in DeFi. We're going to be talking about what makes patches one of the best members in the Rocket Pool community, and a whole lot more. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So we're going to start here with this news. Rocket Watch yesterday brought up an event saying that the Synthetics Treasury Council has placed a buy order for 896 rETH, and they want to spend 1,000 ETH on that. And the ratio they've set that is 1.1155 rETH for wrapped ETH. So this expires on November 17th, which is in 2 days' time. And this is what they've set. So that sounds really good, right? Like they want to buy, 1,000 ETH worth of rETH. Sorry, 1,000 ETH worth of rETH, and they've set the limit order, and now we wait. However, the ratio here is actually 1.1158, not 55. So what they did was they set up pretty much a buy wall on the lower side. So if you click on that, then you see that they've actually been able to fill around 5% of that. So it's not that they're buying it directly on the market right now, but what is happening is that they are setting it as kind of a wall, like a buy wall, which is really cool because it means that the discount shouldn't go down too much below that point until that buy fills at least. So that's really awesome that the Synthetics Council, the Treasury Council, has seen that there's an opportunity here to buy rETH on the secondary market, and if not buy it directly, at least set up a buy wall. So if it hits, they do well with it. They get like a 0.5% discount, which is around 2 and a bit months of staking rewards, or 2 months of staking rewards, which is really cool if it goes back to peg. And the fact that it's the Synthetics Council doing this, their Treasury Council, that means that DAOs are actually interested in potentially holding rETH, which of course is awesome to see. So this was actually something that the community then kind of started talking about it, saying, yay, this is really cool. But then they were like, oh wait, it's a limit order and it's below current price. They're looking to see if it gets to be a bigger discount, to see what happens. And then actually, Val actually had the perspective here, saying that this actually sets a bottom with some size, because to get through that, it would mean that someone has to sell more than 1,000 ETH worth of rETH at that point in order to get through their buy wall. So that's really cool. And here Nick says the buy wall is building brick by brick, ETH by ETH. So it's a 0.5% discount, which is a few months of staking rewards of 0.48%. But that is that's cool. I think the wider message is actually really good, even though the direct the direct reality of them, not minting 1,000 ETH outright is, a bit of a shame, but otherwise it's looking really good. And like I said, the fact that it's a treasury kind of buying in, hopefully means that other treasuries are also looking at this and hopefully will be buying in also. Okay, next we have to talk about the price action for RPL, and it's not looking good, sadly. We hit a new low on this market cycle, and that is at 0.00311, 4814. So the price of RPL is bleeding against ETH is bleeding against Bitcoin, and overall that leads to horrible sentiment, which we're going to be talking about later actually, from an ETH perspective, and that's multiplied from an RPL perspective. But yeah, this is hit a new low, and we can see that the ratio has come up a tiny little bit since then. Actually, let me call the new ratio and see what it says. It's like come up a teeny tiny bit, but not much since that point. And the price actually looks like it's actually is moving, but very, very slowly. But that's kind of what we're at right now. Like, and sadly, it looks like there might be still a short period where ETH bleeds against Bitcoin and alts bleed against ETH. And sadly, that's just the reality of things right now. Now, should you be selling your RPL to try to, buy back lower? Well, that is actually called catching a falling knife. And what happens when you try to catch falling knives is that you cut your fingers off. So it's a really risky strategy. The best time to sell your RPL was a year and a half ago at Atlas upgrade. Now, it's gone down pretty much like 90%, more than 90% against ETH in that time, which is horrible. But, it's, yeah, well, we're going to talk about this a bit later in the episode, so I'll save it for then. Okay, the DeFi sheet for rETH has been updated by Regex Buster, and here it's been tweeted out by Stake Rocket Pool. And this is, updated twice a week. It tells you all the different things that you can do with your rETH on the DeFi market. And here they say that the Pancake swap is once again back on top with an APR of 12.34%. So let's have a look here. You can see on the screenshot that there are ETH pair liquidity providing is giving you up to 12.34%. Here you can see that the rETH is available in all these different places on these different chains, and what it's doing there basically. Here, when you actually get to the sheet itself, so it says rETH DeFi opportunities on layer 2s. So here on Balancer Optimism, you can get about 6.5%. On Base Balancer, you can get between 5.5% and nearly 7%. So those are the outstanding yields on the L2s. On L1, the number is looking a little bit better. So you are getting, on mainnet, you're getting, on Gamma, you're getting about 10.75%. And that's incentivized with RPL. And then on PancakeSwap, we just said 12.34, somewhere around there. And with RPL as well, if you have it on this balancer pool on mainnet, it's a rETH RPL pool. You're getting around 7.73% if you put your RPL and rETH into that pool. So there's some options available for you to put your DeFi, your rETH into DeFi. There's a really stable, 10 to 12%. Those Gamma numbers and PancakeSwap numbers have been in that area for quite a while now. So that's actually looking really good. And I think there's going to be a whole bunch of new incentive pools coming up in the next few weeks. I can't really say too much because that's like insider IMC information, but there'll be even more avenues for you to put your rETH to work if you're interested in that, and with incentives as well. So definitely keep an eye out on that if you are looking to put your rETH to work. Okay, next, Patches came into trading yesterday, and he says, I'm popping beta blockers to get my heart rate down after the Flashbots fiasco in general. Can you give me your pre-doctoral blessing to self-medicate? So what was Patches talking about? What had him in such a panic? Well, in the general thread here, we had Fernie87 popped in and said, hey guys, I just had all my ETH taken from my MetaMask and from my RPC hot wallet. After working with someone on the ticket tool here, it was Dev Sui. They just wiped me out and closed the ticket. So Rocket Pool Discord does not operate as a ticketing system. Sometimes you will see that when people ask for help, the first person to reply to them is a scammer. And they reply by saying, hey, this is the ticketing service, click on this link. It takes you to a website or another Discord channel. You click on the link and then someone starts talking to you, trying to fix your problem. Of course, they're not trying to fix your problem, really. They tell you that, we need to reset your wallet, blah, 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 whatever kind of language they're using nowadays. And they take your seed phrase for your wallet. And when they take your seed phrase, then they take away everything from you. So this is what happened to Fernie here. And Patches says, first of all, I'm sorry that happened to you. Fernie said, I needed help exiting my mini pools, and instead I got scammed. Patches says, second of all, there's no ticketing system. And Fernie says, there was a ticket tool that I was told to use here on this forum. Damn. He says, unfortunately, that person was a scammer. The tool is part of the scam. No such system is used by anyone except scammers. And he says, is your withdrawal address set to your MetaMask or that was compromised? And he says, well, they stole a fair bit amount of crypto from me. Can I please just get some help? It was my Ledger Live. So Patches has the Ledger Live been compromised? And he says the withdrawal is still set to my Ledger Live. He says that they're contacting me and they've taken everything off my ledger. So what it means is that the staked funds were still safe, and it was a hardware wallet, and didn't give them seed phrase. And he says, yes, my ledger is a hardware wallet. And I put my seed phrase into the ticket tool, not the ticket tool, but the RPC node tool. And he says, that's definitely a scam. There's no such tool. He says, I'm so frustrated with myself. He said, send me a friend request. I need to see your node address. So basically, Patches started talking to this person. And then Epinef and others kind of were trying to figure out what happened. And he says, unfortunately, even though you can see they got banned quickly, it looks like a couple of scammers tried and you must have clicked a link. So this is where was on the 11th, where Fernie says, hey guys, trying to exit my mini pools using Rocket Pool and DAppNode, but it's not working. My web signer doesn't let me press the exit button, and when I try to manually put the command in, it doesn't work either. My withdrawal address is correct. What am I missing? So as you can see here, Lee, within a minute was tagging a scammer with Cron, who's one of the mods of the Discord and Rocket Pool, and Lee kind of pointed them towards the DAppNode Discord, and Halulu said, what do you do when you try to run the command manually? So there was the conversation that was happening, but in that time, there were these scammers who were getting caught out at the same time, as you can see here. And I think what happened is Fernie kind of got pulled in with one of those, because that's when Fernie stopped talking in the Discord, and we didn't hear from them again until yesterday. So that's kind of why that ended up. I think that's when the scammer started working with them. He says, just realized I never replied to that again after the first question and answer. And Hulu's kind of saying, that sucks, because he should have paid attention maybe. But sadly, it's really difficult to stay on top of every single person who's got questions outstanding, especially when that person doesn't come back and kind of bring it up again. Epinef says this place sucks, not this particular one, just in general, but also this general thread, just generally. We're so far away from where we need to be, and in crypto there's no recourse. And Fernie basically said that they lost around 30k today. He says, if Patches can't help me, it'll be another 75,000. He says, honestly, I was trying to run a node to help the system and be a good participant, and so far I've gotten pretty messed up. And Val says, Web3 is really unforgiving. I'm sorry for your loss. And then other scammers tried to come in and they got called out, called piece of shit and stuff. The guy, Lee said, the guy just lost $30,000, and they jump on his message. It's so frustrating. So then this is another scam. It's called a recovery scam, where they kind of reach out to people who just got scammed and try to get them to fix their scam, basically, and they scam them again. And he says, thanks, guy, for the support. I'll update later, but Web3 is probably no longer for me. And then Patches here, this is the bit where, that link to that previous part of the story. He says, the withdrawal address bundle went through. The stake is secured at least. I need a drink. So basically, this is what happened, okay? Fernie gave Patches his keys for all the different wallets that were compromised, and Patches set up a bundle on Flashbots, kind of made one mega transaction with all these different wallets that he kind of connected together. And as the crypto was the node, what happened is the withdrawal address of the node was compromised. So if Fernie tried to exit his validators, the scammer was basically camping on that and would be able to steal it. So what Patches did was he took the key of that compromised wallet, which was the withdrawal address, and he sent it ETH. And within one transaction, he sent it ETH and used that ETH to pay for gas to do a withdrawal address change. Thankfully, Rocket Pool lets you do that. Otherwise, it would have been a whole different system of trying to recover funds, where you would draw close your validators, and then as you distribute your stake back to your wallet. You do that as a mega transaction as well, with all these different steps, and it all happens in one go, where the withdrawal amount goes to your wallet and it gets withdrawn instantly to a wallet that's secure. But that's what Patches was able to do here. He was able to secure the withdrawal address. So it was, I'm sure, really tense. And he says version 10 got delayed one day extra because he spent so much time helping this person with their thing. And of course, Patch is a white hat, he didn't expect anything in return for this, which is just absolutely amazing. Going back to trading, where they were kind of talking about this, Epinef says that was impressive work. Val asked, do you have a spreadsheet showing the hundreds of thousands of dollars you've saved random people? It's seriously cool stuff. Epinef said this is a glimmer for humanity. Patches says should start keeping score. But yeah, that's it. Like it's just such a like he's such a awesome guy. Like he was just like, yep, just another day, like saving this person thousands upon thousands of dollars. Absolutely amazing. Now this burned up like a bigger discussion about what we can do in the community to start helping people who kind of come in for the first time in a while, and like what we can do to help them. So Kron kind of explained what happens. He says that there's many scammers that just stay in the Discord, but they don't actually post anything. They're just watching accounts, and they watch for people to say something that is puts them in a vulnerable position to like kind of scam them. And then instead of messaging them from that watcher account, what they do is they have a second account or a third account that sends that person a direct message saying, oh yeah, I just saw your problem, let me help you. And that's that second account. There's no way to link that to the first watching account, so you can't ban that watcher account. So it creates like this really horrible situation where people are just like with their fish in a barrel, basically waiting to be caught. And sadly, it happens frequently enough that it's worth it for these people to keep doing this. Just even if they get like one hit a month, that's $30,000 a month. That's nearly like, $500,000 a year. Just camping in the Discord trying to scam people. It's absolutely the lowest of the low people. Scumbags, absolute fucking scumbags. But yeah, this is something that we have to remain vigilant about. And thankfully, Lido started working on this Rocket Watch output, saying if you're seeing this message, you recently interacted with Rocket Pool server and your direct messages are open to members of the server or even any Discord user, please note the following guidelines to avoid losing funds to scams in the future. So questions and support inquiries should be responded to in public channels in almost all cases. If you received unsolicited direct messages, ignore the message and report the interactions. And then there's a place where you can report the transactions. It says do not join external servers or even supposed support threads that may be created within the Rocket Pool server. Likewise, do not interact with websites that claim to provide support. There is no ticketing system and people will be available to assist you in the support channel. It says, do not under any circumstance reveal your seed phrase or private key in messages to other support interactions. For websites that require contract interactions, do not boldly trust links. Even if they are posted publicly, Rocket Pool specific URLs can be found in the resources thread. It says, if you're unsure, wait for other server members to confirm the link can be trusted. In some cases, you may prefer to convey information such as the wallet address privately. If so, it's critical to ensure the person you interacted with can be trusted. Also here, asking other members for confirmation is helpful. In addition, you should initiate the direct message yourself. This minimizes the risk of interacting with scammers that may impersonate other members of this server. And of course, that happens all the time where people have names that are very similar to those who ask, give help in support to make it look like that's the person you're speaking to. So, and sadly, the people who are watching this probably aren't the kind of people that, will be potentially falling for scams in support, but please stay vigilant because it is really, really, really a dark forest out there. And even people, who have been around for a while, node operators, like, you think that they might know a thing or two, but even they can get scammed. So this, I think, would be really, really great that, if we can get that working. So thanks, Lido, for putting that together. Actually, let me just, there was one of the things that Lido said here was like, do not under any circumstance reveal your seed phrase. Well, Patches had a tweet about that. Let me show you. Yeah, so this is a Patches tweet from earlier today, where he says it bears repeating, never ever type your seed phrase for your hardware wallet into a phone or a computer. If anyone asks you to do that, you're being scammed. He says, however, if you've already typed it into a computer or a phone, the wallet is now compromised. Only at that point do you have nothing to lose by sharing it with a white hat. So even if like this situation, Patches obviously is a white hat, right? Like trying to help this person, but if that wallet hadn't been drained, at that point Patches would not ask for the keys to that wallet. Patches would say to that person, move your crypto off that wallet into a wallet that has not been compromised, like a new wallet or something like that, and that has brand new private keys, for example, and not just like a derivative of the same keys. Now that is Patches explaining like that one situation in which that rule doesn't apply. Okay, so let's talk about branding. We've been talking about branding for last few days on Rocket Fuel, and Meek here is one of the people who has the longest lasting rants about branding for Rocket Pool. It was at DevCon, and the Rocket Pool team, of course, are at DevCon as well. And Meek says, I finally had the opportunity to talk about all my brand ranting directly with Langers. So that was nice. I don't know what they said in reply. Bossy said, how far did you get? And he replied by saying, he was just talking about DevCon after that. But yeah, we don't really get an update. But I just thought that was funny that, the chief complainer about the marketing got to meet the team and kind of rant at them about the marketing. I would have liked to be the fly on that wall, definitely. Okay, let's move on to some staking news now. And we had Lido Connect taking place during DevCon, at the time of DevCon. And here we had a talk from Dimi, who is kind of the lead of Lido CSM. And here he's talking about CSM version 2. And Lulo here was giving updates. So there's a capture of their slides, and it says that they will have lower bond requirements, higher reward efficiency, that you can become a solo staker program. They'll have a become a solo staker program, improved performance oracle, and EIP 7002 support. So it looks like they're setting themselves up for launch for Lido CSM version 2 in the summer of 2025. And people in the Rocket Pool community were kind of talking about what that lower bond might look like. They're talking about 1 ETH validators, maybe less than that. How will it work? Epinef and myself were kind of wondering, like, is it just lower than attempted competitors? But it says they're actually talking about CSM next year, that it should be going lower in general. So it looks like CSM are kind of pushing the limits. And I think it was Epinef here who said that, they could go lower, because as long as CSM remains a small part of their overall TVL, even if people steal MEV, there's very little drag that comes onto their protocol from from these CSM validators. So that's really interesting. Okay, so I kind of alluded to this earlier. This is like just general Ethereum and just general talk. I kind of alluded to this earlier that, the sentiment in the Rocket Pool community is really low. The Rocket Pool community, the sentiment has been low for a while, because people have seen their RPL bags, lose value against ETH for pretty much a year and a half now, continuously pretty much as well, with very few months of, respite where the amount's gone up. But it seems like that same bearishness and that same capitulation basically is also impacting ETH holders now. So here Lee shared a screenshot from ETH Trader, where someone shared a story of people panic selling their ETH. So a whale dumped 5,000 ETH worth $15.6 million, and also requested a withdrawal of $31 million worth of ETH from Lido. So that's 10,000 ETH. So it looks like that person is capitulating and selling their ETH. Also here we have had Vic, who basically said, my wife and I made a tough, but we believe the right decision today. It says we're converting all our ETH to Bitcoin. It's a difficult decision because I was there when ETH launched on Coinbase at $4, and that's difficult to let go. It's been a great ride, but it's time. Ethereum, in my opinion, is something awesome that you get when you need it for gas, for DeFi, real world assets, NFTs, or whatever. And there was a bit of a discussion kind of going back and forth. So Decode said, I think the timing is wrong. ETH will outperform Bitcoin soon. And other people were saying that, you converted it after 2 years of downtrend. The time that you should have converted it was 2 years ago. And now this is called capitulating near the bottom. And that capitulation sentiment is the one that I'm kind of wanting to focus on. Here, Bossy in the Rocket Pool community kind of had a lot of negative sentiment about ETH as well, saying ETH's so getting left far behind. It's a shame. And basically that it looks like it's going lower. And then he says, I'm starting to believe that ETH BTC isn't going to recover from this, and that's the new norm, basically saying that ETH is going to stay low against BTC forever. So that kind of sentiment is abound, basically. Here we had on ETH Finance as well, Eggle saying that basically like ETH was a great technology, and I was an investor, but the mistake I made was thinking that the crypto market was rational. He says, the ETH should have bounced, but it didn't bounce, and we've been outperformed by ADA from Cardano, XRP from Ripple, and Pepe, the meme coin. And he says, let that sink in. He says, I love Ethereum, but I've come to accept it won't make me rich. I'll have bragging rights and nothing more. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. And then here we had Jatim saying, we're going to admit that there's a problem with marketing in the ecosystem, which is not attracting enough new users, or we're going to wait until the ratio breaks down below 0.03 ETH BTC. And he says some flipping basically. These users have gotten downvoted quite heavily on ETH Finance, but their views are still there, and the number of those people saying those kind of views is growing. The counterpoint to that, of course, is that Meek here said, honestly, after DevCon and how engaged and inspired I am from values mission perspective, I'm going to adjust my timeline to way longer and stop looking at the price. It feels like most of us have forgotten why we're here in the first place. And then he said, except RPL, that's a big bag of shit. And he's joking, of course, he's an RPL holder himself. But so Meek was kind of like looking at the bigger picture and saying that, hey, look, I'm at DevCon right now and it's amazing. The sentiment is incredible. And, that is why ETH is going to succeed. And if you need any more reason, here's Larry Fink talking about tokenization of assets. And what he basically says here is that the next step is tokenization of financial assets. And he says you'll pick a blockchain and that blockchain is going to get all these tokenizations of like bonds and securities and all sorts of stuff like that. We'll have instant settlement, we'll have white lists of addresses, everything will be known, everything will be controlled, everything will be out in the open, and it will make things much, much better. So this is Larry Fink saying this. You can watch the videos and links in the description below. And basically this is where I think that BlackRock Layer 2 comes in. It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how it works. But yeah, it looks really, really exciting. So these okay. So what I wanted to say was, there's this negative sentiment that's abound. Of course, in people who hold RPL, they're sharing a lot of negative sentiment. And then people who are holding ETH, they're showing a lot of negative sentiment. And that's, of course, in the face of BTC just being massively unrelenting in terms of its price action right now. It's just chilling above $90,000. And ETH and other tokens have kind of taken hits against that. But I think this is kind of showing what we've seen in previous cycles, right? Where ETH has gone and smacked down. ETH has really gone lower than people thought basically was possible, and they capitulate, and then it's only a matter of time before things bounce up. And to put the conspiracy hat on, people are saying that these TradFi guys who want to hold ETH are manipulating the prices to drive it down, so they can buy it cheap. Now, I'm not, saying that that's what's happening or anything like that, but I really do feel like, it's only a matter of time before ETH bounces. And once ETH bounces, then everything, all of these worries that people are having are going to go away. And it's going to be absolutely amazing to see that happen. So yeah, keep the faith, guys. We've come so close, and the biggest rule in crypto is don't blow yourselves up. And that isn't just by getting scammed or making bad trades, but that's also having a psyop, psychological operation against yourself, where you kind of fod yourself out of your bags, and then you just get left holding underperforming assets, basically, instead of selling something that you had previously bought when you had conviction. So here I am telling you all that, don't capitulate, just hold on. Hopefully not trading advice or anything like that, of course, but it's only a matter of time before ETH bounces. And when it does bounce, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing to see. So please, I hope you don't get caught outside, get caught offside. But I guess that's your decision. However you want to approach your portfolio is up to you. But that's what I'm waiting for anyway. So thanks all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely weekend ahead. Hopefully next week will be a better one for all of us. And I'll see you then. And we're going to have the 500th episode of Rocket Fuel as well next week. So that's really exciting. I can't believe that it's 500 episodes next week. Yeah, but I'll see you then. Bye.